I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm not even supposed to be here today! Oh, fuck you!
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal. Remember, I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Get in the car.
Fuck me in the ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Hey everyone, it's Don Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this movie review is going to be for 2004's Ray, directed by Taylor Hackford, and starring Jamie Foxx in one of his most iconic film roles. So, what is the plot of Ray? Well, Ray, as you all know, is the film biography story of artist Ray Charles, who, played by Jamie Foxx, was a music legend, and it's told in his adult life with flashbacks of his childhood and youth. We saw in his origins in Florida, his childhood, which pretty much included losing his brother and then his sight as well, a hit rise in a pianist in a touring band, writing his own songs, then running his own band and stardom. It also does touch up on his addiction to drugs and a pretty harrowing sequence near the end of the film, and its effect on his working life and family life. So, as for my reaction to the film, well, Ray is one of those music biographies that always works very well because of Fox playing Ray very well, and we do see some of Ray's past and how Jamie Foxx transformed himself into Ray. Like, during the movie, he really does feel like he was actually Ray himself. We didn't feel like we were actually watching Jamie Foxx playing a fictional version of a real-life person. We actually felt like we were watching the actually real Ray Charles. The movie that came out the year he had passed away. And may he rest in peace. And supporting actors Kerry Washington, Sharon Robinson, and Regina King are also very superb in their roles as well. And the movie was well cast and directed. Like, the music was also very fantastic. And so, how was Ray made? Well, Taylor Hackford had said it actually took 15 years to make the film, or in the liner notes, they clarified, like, the soundtrack album, like, it's how long it took him to actually secure the financing. And the film got made on a $40 million budget, and Ray Charles was given this braille copy of the film's script, and he objected to this one scene that showed him taking piano lessons, and one implying that Charles had shown Mistress and how to shoot heroin, and Hackford originally had the idea of this stunt double to make it look like Fox was playing the piano, but was shocked to learn that apparently when he went to college, like, on this classic piano scholarship, but when Fox is in the film, he doesn't sing as Charles. Like, there's some cover versions that Charles performs in earlier years, but some of these, like, covers he has performed were actually very successful, that artists, like, actually, ironically in a way, some, like, Kanye West and Ludacris, like, they made some songs, like, where Fox does sing as Charles, from some of those moments, like in the songs like Gold Digger and Georgia. Because of how successful those covers were. Like, and rather than study Ray Charles in person, Fox actually watched old video footage of him to recreate the vibe of Ray Charles when he was a lot younger. And Jamie Foxx also shot the majority of the film blind because he used prosthetics to cover his eyes. To really well nail the character. So after Ray was officially shot and marketed, Ray would go on to be released into the theaters on October 29, 2004, on Halloween week of 2004 by Universal Pictures, and the film got very positive reviews from critics. They all liked Jamie Foxx's performance, and the film became a box office success because it made over $124 million worldwide. Although I feel like if you wanted to make a little more profit, not sure I feel about releasing the film on Halloween weekend. Because, like, Halloween weekend is a time when people want to go watch a horror film or something. Like, a film like this, like, maybe, like, I feel like this should have came out, like, maybe September or November. I think maybe November would have been better. You know, I mean, it's not like it's not a big budgeted blockbuster. I mean, I feel like it probably would have made a bit more decent amounts if it had been released in November. Because like maybe like November would be a more kind of bit of a better time for a film like this. That's just me though, but also Ray also got many nominations and got nominated in 6 categories at the 77th Oscars, especially Best Picture, and Jamie Foxx won the Oscar for Best Actor, and the film won Best Sound Mixing, and he also even won the Golden Globe for Best Actor, then the BAFTA Screen Actors Guild and Critics' Choice, and was the second actor at the time to win all 5 major lead actor awards for the same performance. And he only won to win a Golden Globe in the musical or comedy category and not really drama. And Ray Charles was going to attend the screening of the completed film, but he had died of liver disease in June 2004, like months before the film had come out, 4 months prior to premiere. So sadly he wasn't able to, and it's a shame because like when this movie, because I wish he got to live long enough to see this movie because I feel like he would have really loved it. In a way, like, he probably would have really loved this movie had he got to see it. So, for the good qualities and the whole story of how the film goes, what makes Ray such a great film? Well, what makes Ray a great film is after a few moments you stop seeing a film and you see a biography played by a great music artist himself. Ray Charles was definitely a genius in music and really made some great music, and the movie really does depict that very well. Like Ray is definitely one of the best films to come out in the year 2004. 2004 was a great year for films. Like there was films like Spider-Man 2, there was films like Shrek 2, there was films like Day After Tomorrow, or there was films like Saw. There was films like $1 Million Baby to end off the year. Like there's The Incredibles as well, the SpongeBob movie, Polar Express, and the Punisher 2004. Yes, I consider Punisher 2004 a great film. There are a lot of great films to come out in 2004, and this was definitely one of them. And honestly, like, if I had to pick which of the 2 musical biographies I like the most, whether it's either this movie or whether it's Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, I think I like both of them equally, but if I had to pick just one I would put slightly above the other, I think I would have to probably put Ray above it. I think Ray's kind of the slightly superior film in a few aspects. Because, like, I feel like Ray's the most well thought out. I think Ray's like the most... Ray really got... I can't speak clearly. I think Fox really portrays Ray very well. Joaquin Phoenix portrayed Johnny Cash very well in Walk the Line, but... kind of equally as well, but... I feel like Jamie Foxx really did master the character and like weird prosthetics to really master the character well, and even watched footage of Ray Charles to really prep for the role. So yeah, I think Ray is better. And honestly, it's probably my favorite musical biography film ever made. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best films of the 2000s. In a way, now, like, there's many emotional scenes that are definitely pretty heartbreaking to watch. The music is outstanding, like, especially when you're seeing all the cover songs that Ray played. Like, so many of these songs I've seen, like, those were some of my favorite songs from Ray Charles, and the music is very outstanding, and, like, Jamie Foxx really was terrifically casted for the role. I don't think I could imagine anyone else playing the actor better than he did. No one else could have played the role better than he did. Like, if Fox had not been casted in the role, Ray wouldn't have been that great or terrific of a movie. Like, it maybe would be good, but it wouldn't be the film like that I think of it as that I really think it is. Ray is a movie that is very excellent. The music is excellent. The lead actor picked for the role is an excellent choice. Like, sure, like the movie does get a little long. It is 152 minutes long, but it needs to be long. Because there's a lot of things about Ray Charles' life that needs to be explained. Like, his childhood needs to be explained. Some of his more bad problems, like his heroin addiction, need to be explained. And stuff, or some of his other big selling singles need to be explained. All that stuff was important for the film. So it definitely has a reason to be long. Like, there's many bizarre moments and many very sad moments. Like, the scene when Ray's brother George drowns, that's definitely a very heartbreaking, bizarre moment. Especially when his mother finds his brother dead and then just bursts into tears, both seeing his body and the funeral. It's a very emotional moment. And then she became very hard on Ray. Eventually, when he started becoming blind, eventually, though, he had to kind of learn how to start being independent and start to look around his own surroundings. And like Taylor Hackford, like this is a guy who's directed films like Dolores Claiborne, and heck, he even directed one of my favorite Keanu Reeves roles, The Devil's Advocate. Directs this movie in a very unique style. Like he does the flashbacks of Ray Charles' childhood early and often throughout the film, rather than having be disjointed and just randomly cut unnecessarily. Like Hackford creates it perfectly well, times everything perfectly, so it all flows together in a meaningful way. And of course, with the long runtime, it never meanders, and because Hackford's direction is very well creative, and the way each shot was created, it's like totally terrifically perfectionist. How it was done, and it leads Ray to have some great direction for a movie about an actual real life music artist. So, how do we start off? Well, the childhood flashbacks do often appear throughout the movie, but I'll explain like the childhood flashback scenes we see. So, what we know is Ray Charles Robinson was raised in poverty in Florida by his mother, Aretha. And at an early age, he learned to play piano, but one day, the younger brother George then dies accidentally, drowning in in their mom's waste bin. And Ray witnesses this and is haunted by this right there. And of course, then his mother finds the body, wails, and then asks Ray why he wasn't there. And Ray just looks really haunted by it. It's definitely definitely pretty haunting little scene right there. Then after the funeral, like Ray does start to lose his vision at age 7, and then he becomes completely blind. And then Aretha has to teach him how to like be independent. And then eventually, in one other cutaway, he trips over a rug. He tries calling his mom for help, but as far as his mom does go over, but then she stands. And it turns out like there's a rug there for him to purposely trip on. But then of course he tries calling, but remembering that he has to learn to be independent, he then does get up and relies on hearing and senses to be able to know what's going on around him. He even sticks his hand out near a fireplace, but because it obviously feels hot, he then jerks his hand back, and that's when he really does start to be able to getting adjusted to now being blind. And then eventually, he gets sent to school for the deaf and blind. Then, during the time we all see his adult years, it's around 1946 when Ray's joining this white country band, and he wears sunglasses to hide his damaged eyes, and like, especially it's all very well acted moments, especially considering that Jamie Foxx had to wore prosthetics for these scenes. Right there, and so it actually feels like you're really watching Ray Charles right here. And then, of course, he went to Seattle and he joined his nightclub band. But the owner of the club wanted sexual favors and starts controlling his career and his fame and his riches. Ray then realizes this whole thing and he decides his own deal and leaves the band. And of course, then he goes on tour and he gets introduced to heroin. Then after that, of course, like, we all find out, like, he actually, Ahmet Erkin discovers him at Atlantic Records, and he records his first hit called Mess Around. And then, of course, he meets this woman named Della Biff, falls in love with her. But although her and many others are unhappy about Ray with mixing gospel with music, but he marries Della and then gets fame with more singles, like Hallelujah Lover Song, I Got a Woman. And yeah, like, you definitely see all these little flashbacks in this entire first half. Like, often you see these moments, or whenever it does cut away to his childhood, like the kind of way it shows us what he's kind of thinking during all those moments, and reliving all those moments that he went through. So it's a very creative direction the movie is going, and I like that the childhood flashbacks they don't appear in chronological order. I actually like they cut back to them. It actually kind of gives more of like what Ray in this movie is thinking, like the time the things he remembers when he was a kid. Like, he remembers when he became blind, remembers when he had to adjust to being independent, or having the haunting memories of his brother's death, or when he got introduced to piano. It's an interesting way they put the film together. And what they do is, like, they really show the piece of his life, show the song was born from that experience, and the technique does really do well and create interest and enjoyment in his music for the viewers that if first time watch they never heard his music before, and I like how they really portray Ray's drug addictions, affairs, and flashbacks with interest and actually even a little bit of haunting as well. And half of the film is like the great music of Ray Charles, like whether it's a scene of him in a studio or playing at a concert, we get to hear all those music and some of his more iconic songs. Like, now Taylor Hackford doesn't really create an excessive amount of license in bringing the Ray Charles story to the screen, but it is appropriate to do so. Like, it's a celebration of the guy's life, and it really does lay down the events and the good and the bad. And Hackford's vision really does show Ray's struggle with the guilt for his brother's death, and that turned to drugs. That led to things getting worse, and success and fame really do occur. And by the end, it does, sure, some cheesy way does kind of resolve it, but it's a very powerful way it all does kind of resolve it. And, like, you can tell everyone involved in it really had a great love for Ray Charles and really did well in making this a great biopic that Ray himself would have definitely loved if he had lived long enough to see it. Like, they really do touch up on the story of his life in a very amazing way. It's not like, it actually done in a very respectful way, told with talent, skill, and love. An actor that really did well in preparing for the role of the character. So, one day when Della is pregnant, she finds Ray's drug kit and confronts him on that, but then they reconcile after their child's born. Ray then, though, begins an affair with a singer named Marianne Fisher, but Ray's popularity then grows in 1956, and he meets this trio of girls that become the Rowletts. Like, they were some of his well-known collaborators on quite a few songs. And he does fall for lead singer Margie Hendricks, but they begin their own affair, and Marianne leaves jealous. Then Margie asks Ray to let her try heroin, but he then orders her to stay away from it, though, and his complete addiction, like he presents when recording, like the nighttime is the right time, and his electric piano, and despite that, his genius does get recognized, as career still does continue to grow, and then, of course, Ray's band finishes this set early. The owner demands they play the remaining time, but Ray then performs definitely one of the songs I always loved the most was What I'd Say. That's always been one of his most well-known. That always to me was one of his best songs. Like, and that song immediately, like, then causes popularity to rise, and to the point where even people on the beach are jamming to it. So it becomes like loved by the whole time. The song becomes so popular that it gets loved by the whole entire world, and it makes its popularity rise. Like, in the scene when this scene's happening, they're like, I don't know what to do with this song, man. This song's a little too long. But eventually, though, they actually decide to let it go play on the radios, and it becomes so successful. It becomes such a loved song by everybody, to the point where Ray moves his family to Los Angeles, but his heroin still continues to use heroin, sadly, and Deli and Margie's relationships strain with him. Then he signs this contract with ABC Records in a way to have his own master tapes. And to see how this movie really showing how Ray Charles worked and created his music is very awesome. Especially like during all the times he improvised in his live shows, and right there, or even when he created the What I Say song. Like, making a biopic, especially for a musician, that is definitely difficult. Right there, because when you have to kind of go learn more about the singer's past and how they became successful, and like get all that stuff, adapt that stuff well, be faithful to some of that, but you don't have to be faithful to everything. What main area of their life the focus was, and then of course, like around that time, the movie had released around the very same year Ray Charles had passed away, so that which also does kind of help with the greatness of the film, because like they were able to learn more about his life and stuff. They were able to make it around the time he was still around. And the movie released around a few months after he had passed on. May he rest in peace once again. And from the moment you're captured into the world that Ray Charles lived in, which was this USA in the 50s and 60s, so flashbacks do play a big role in the subtext or reason for the hallucinations. And you also see blindness play a part, whether or not what Charles does is able to get a seat on the bus, but it's absolutely genius. Like, and that's like the way the movie starts off, and it's absolutely genius way to start off the film. One of the most amazing things about the movie is that, like, while Jamie Foxx didn't do all the singing himself, there are some bits where he did do some of it himself, like right there, and he didn't sing all the songs. Like he did sing the covers of like "Give Me My Money," like yeah, she give me money when I'm in need. Like he did sing that, and he could, and also like that was successful. That many other popular artists started using bits from those covers into their songs. Like he does the covers very well. Right there. Like he really does the covers terrifically. Like he definitely has a terrific singing voice. And Ray does continue to develop his music and records like hits like another one of his most iconic songs, "Georgia on My Mind," and then eventually Margie's actually pregnant, but then cuts off the affair. Ray demands she end the pregnancy. He writes an iconic song, "Hit the Road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more." And Margie provides a solo, and then that immediately uses her recognition to go on a solo career. But Ray, though, is still struggling with his addiction to heroin, and then eventually more trouble does start to strike when some civil rights protesters outside his concert encounter Ray, and he doesn't want to play the whole song, so he cancels the concert, and then Georgia bans him from their area. But eventually he does allow some black and white audience members to dance together on stage during a concert in Indianapolis, but police then raid his hotel room, and he's arrested for possession of heroin, and that gets made out to the public. But the record label immediately is able to dismiss the charges, and then Ray performs another song called "I Can't Stop Loving You," and Joe Adams gets impressed by this, and he joins his tour, and so Ray leaves Los Angeles and goes to Beverly Hills next. But then he learns that Margie had died from an overdose, and then Joe alienates Ray's band and his friend manager Jeff Brown, who has basically caught stealing, and Ray fires them. And like in the whole 2.5-hour length, like the movie never really strays from its central focus on Ray's irresponsible personality or irrepressible personality. Now it led to accomplishments, and as well as to many irresponsible moments. Like when I meant to say irresponsible, like some of the more irresponsible moments that led to many great mistakes. And the film really does stay within the boundaries of the genre's conventions. It seems like when Ray hallucinates during his heroin withdrawal about his brother's corpse, like it really does feel, since like this director did direct a somewhat horror film called The Devil's Advocate, like this scene right there when Ray's having the hallucinations, it really does feel influenced by a lot of horror films. Right there, like the withdrawal scenes are very haunting. Like they're very well shot. They really do feel realistic, and the production values are very high. The sound is excellent. The film flows very well, even with all the flashbacks that integrate into the film very flawlessly. And the screenplay itself is very true, and especially what helps contribute to the film's success. It's not like a candy-coated screenplay, and it really does show the man a legendary distinct artist for all that he was good and bad in a time that reflected a lot of stuff. And the look of the film itself also is even unique and very striking. You got the great photography, the footage, and the effects. They really make the film as special to look at as it is to listen to during the song scenes. And the flashback scenes of Ray's youth, like they're very well done, and they really do well in contributing to the plot. Right there, like, and I like how they do cut back to Ray's childhood throughout the film. Like I said, it kind of shows you what Ray's thinking or what the memories that Ray is reliving. And all stuff he experienced in his childhood. It feels like a very well shot moment there. So now we get on to the finale of the movie. So, how the finale goes, it goes to 1965, and Ray's back from a concert in Montreal, Canada, and once again gets arrested for possession of heroin, but Della dismisses his excuses and begs him to overcome his habit, and so he has to go to drug rehabilitation. And now we get to the moments where he's suffering all the nightmares and the hallucinations during withdrawal. And I really do feel horror-like, and it really does feel like the direction of the Devil's Advocate in these scenes. Like, it really feels like real-life withdrawal, and there you can really see this. And Fox really does well in portraying all the pain and struggles Ray Charles is going through in these moments. And then Ray learns to play chess with Dr. Hacker, and he explains that the lawyer's arguments with the judge actually agreed to just have Ray sentenced to probation under condition he completes the rehab program and take drug tests. Then, of course, to kind of like in a way, to almost kind of close off the movie, Ray has this vision of George and the mother who they praise the fact he's become a success. They belittle him for letting his addictions cripple him. And they have him promise, but George tells Ray that his death was not his fault. And his mom tells him in the vision he's having to never try to become a cripple again. And Ray agrees to that. And then it cuts to some closing texts where you see by 1979, it's mentioned that Ray has then quit heroin, receives an apology from the state of Georgia, and their state song becomes Georgia on My Mind. And then now that Ray's quit heroin, he went on to have a long successful career as his entertainer, and then he had passed on in 2004, the year the movie had come out. But yeah, that is how Ray ends. The movie that showed us the life of Ray Charles, the mistakes he's made, or the childhood, and the heroin addiction he went through, the success he achieved with a lot of his songs, and all ending with with Georgia apologizing for the band and naming Georgia on My Mind as her song. All terrifically. And of course, that's the end of the movie. And this 152-minute biography film was actually very terrific. Now, would I have any bad qualities with Ray? I don't have any bad qualities, honestly. I don't have any bad qualities. I don't. Because, I think Ray is a perfect masterpiece from 2004. And this was his year with a lot of masterpieces. So in the end, yes, I would totally watch or buy Ray for your collection if you loved Ray Charles' music and want to see a film about him, and he's one of Jamie Foxx's best roles of his career. Anyways, guys, that's it for my view of Ray. And if we're not going to rank Ray, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you are a fan of Ray Charles' music and want to see a film that features one of Jamie Foxx's best roles, then I would totally watch or buy Ray for your collection for sure, no doubt. And if we're not going to rank Ray, I'm going to give Ray a damn 10 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up my review for Ray. Now I want to know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Ray, whether you love this movie, whether you hated this movie. And until then, guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.